is find someone to talk to. I could talk to Catherine, but I don't know the girl talking to Catherine. I could be interrupting a serious conversation. They could be talking about personal traumas, student loans, the death penalty, my post-breakup bisexuality, our societal rat race too. She and I are Facebook friends, but we've never spoken. It'd be really weird if I spoke to her now. Don't know her, don't know him, but he seems too cool. Friends with my ex. No, thank you. He looks mean. She looks too kind. She talks so loudly. He's fucking tall.
One was 8 straight minutes of gut-busting tension in fast forward. I love the frantic and messy style in which the main character narrates his every fail and fabulous fall. This character was so well timed, just drinking vodka and wet cement to get plastered, like he wasn't even trying to be funny. This was a really smart twist on the classic post-breakup party story, an experience which was perfectly executed by our main and completed with some nice sharp camera styles, some funky use of lighting and colors, as well as some really smooth editing to tie it all in.
This one was as much fun as the name might suggest. Just what a bad trip in a really good way. This one just kept surprising me at every corner, and for that reason I thought it was absolutely delightful. You can't try to read too much more into it than what it is on the surface. It's just a gas, definitely worth checking out.
Had me laughing so many times throughout, almost always because of the commentary provided by the protagonist in his voiceover monologues. It really highlighted the anxiety that can be going through someone when in the kind of party situation and they don't know a lot of people or have just gone through something that they're worried about exploring through conversations at the party. It was very relatable and used bisexuality in this very casual way that should really be looked at and applauded and considered by others and how it was implemented. You know, the whole thing wasn't about his bisexuality at all. It was merely an undertone to it, a component to his overall construction as the lead character. And I thought that was great, rather than having it be in some kind of way central to his problem, right, that he was going throughout the piece. It's very funny, well shot. The transitions between shots, not even just between scenes, very well done and give the kind of quick paceness that you want out of this kind of story. A sense of freneticness, which really relates back to also his state of being. Very well done.
Really kind of liked the throwback vibe of this piece, and you could see really came across the filmmaker enjoyed what he was or she was doing with this. Kind of a phonetic approach, loved the inner dialogue, and thought it was just kind of interesting to take a twist on a story for a single person's perspective, and how our perspective is skewed by our inner dialogue, and thought they did a nice job with that. Also how we project our ideas of others, and that also changes kind of our attitude and perspective to a situation. And just thought they really had a good time on this one.
Such a hilarious and fantastic short film. You can literally feel the panic when he first arrives at the party. Like, you can literally feel the anxiety, like, jumping through him. And that worked really well because it definitely set the tone for the entire film. I love how he goes through, like, all the different people at the party and he gives, like, these bizarre excuses for not wanting to talk to him. Like, one person was like, he's wearing a hat, he's too tall. Like, it was so funny. Like, I was literally, like, laughing the entire time. I also like how he's, like, telling the story while we're watching it. So it definitely feels like he's, like, telling the story back to, like, one of his friends or something like that, and we're just, like, we're watching it as it happens. I think that worked really well. And you could just, like, feel how uncomfortable he is the entire time. And yeah, I just think the film was really hilarious and the actors did a fantastic job and I really enjoyed it.
I thought this was such a funny and inventive piece. It was this, like, genre-bending nature to it that I very much appreciated because we were taken on a ride where I had no idea where we were going next. But at the same time, I kind of did know where we were going because they captured the anxieties of going to a party so well. And that running commentary throughout bringing up all of the anxieties, the social rules, the inability to just play it cool was relatable. But really quickly moving. They didn't stay in any particular scene too long. The absurd pieces were really well matched with very grounded realizations and the emotions of not fitting in or of longing and the desire to connect. I loved the shot of him sliding along the glitter floor. It felt like some acid trip dream. And all the faces staring down in the glowing light. Really cool and very creative.
In addition to having a great title, I Make Good Sounds at Parties has the good fortune of starring the lead writer and producer, Russell Goldman. I find, personally speaking, that a lot of physical comedy exploring things like social anxiety and social traumas are best manipulated when delivered by the writer themselves. I think that sometimes a lot of that humor comes from deep down inside and is performed out of personal experience. And I think that Russell Goldman did a great job. I also want to give a shout out to Lauren Vermette for if I pronounced her name right, and her whole team of art PAs for making the beer pong joke work. Stuck in the cheek, that worked in kind of an Evil Dead kind of a way that I very much appreciated. The film jumps a bit from anarchistic fun and when he discovers his confident party behavior, but then there's that as his adventure becomes more and more strange, it suddenly becomes drastically more familiar when he finds his ex at the same party with him. And we all know that pain, that social anxiety, that harm, that hurt, that pain when we see the one who used to love us in the arms of another, and how hard it is to make it look like, hey, everything's just fine. And like a party, the independent perspective becomes much more frantic and disoriented. But it had a very strong ending, and the ending was a little confusing, but I felt like it was a very confident kind of ending, and I felt good for him, and I would like to see more work from Russell Goldman.